Yo guys, today we're going to be building a block wall. I got me and my apprentice over here. He's just on the grasso, but we're going to be building this block wall together. Yo! Brakes over! Yo! Brakes over!
We're looking to extend this wall a little bit and fix up the fence. With the wall extension, we're going to be going about 1.8 meters just to make it mirror the other side. Make it mirror the other side over here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to dry lay the blocks, these blocks over here, and figure out where the rebar should be. .39, so the spacing should be around 39. All right, so I've kind of put some rebar in and I've got it the distance to what I think I want to extend it with. I may just add a little small block just to make it slightly wider, but it looks to me visually that that would be enough length for me. So now it's time to just make sure this is fully down. So as you can see, I've dug quite a little bit down, at least 40 centimeters to below the current grass line. So I've got a couple of bags of concrete here and I'm just gonna dry mix it because it should be strong enough. So let me just add a bit of water first, get it going. Makes it nice and wet. It's already wet down there, so shouldn't be a problem getting much water there.
Alright, so we finished with our prep work for the day. I'm just going to leave that to set for 24 hours before coming back tomorrow and laying our first blocks. I'm going to add in lots of more rebar just to make it super strong, make this one taller, all that kind of stuff, feed it into that wall. Alright, so it's now the next day. I'm just dry feeding the blocks, figure out what angle I'll go with. I think I'm just going to follow the wall to the end there. And it looks like I'll have this layer starting up here and I'll get this layer high up so it's butting underneath that one, so that way I have two blocks going up from this section here and play with it. So it's looking pretty good, but what I should do now is just get some mortar, start bedding them in. It's pretty dusty, so make sure you wear PPE. Just gonna mix in a bit more water. And then you can either hand stir with a shovel, or if you've got one of these bad boys, make it slightly easier. Kind of want to get it to a toothpaste consistency. Almost there. That's probably good enough to work with for now. So as I'm going to be putting a lot of mortar there just to bed the area up a bit for my block, I'm just going to be using a small spade just to get the product on there.
so I got 2, they're looking good. I'm just gonna let it set, and then I'll do the same for these guys. Build up one low here, then I'll go perfectly straight from this level. So this is just kind of like just a form. I'll get these guys up the same to this kind of level, and then from here, this is when I'll make it perfectly straight. So there'll be a little bit of wobble, but this stuff will get covered up by grass anyway, because my floor height is going to be around here. But I'm going all the way down to the bottom to make it look good. So it took a lot of build up on the bottom, but I've pretty much got a nice base to work from there. So just one more layer, and then we can start mixing and mashing the blocks. So the hardest part for me, I guess, this bit was dug way too deep, so I needed to kind of like just topple it up so it's nice and strong. But the first 2 blocks that I laid, as you can see, they're very, very strong, and they're still centered. So I'm just going to let that rest up, and then once this is solidified, I'll be able to just build up, and it should be a lot easier now. All right, so I just finished my batch of blocks. I'm gonna have to go buy some more blocks. I did just have a bit of fun with the mortar just to solidify the base a little bit more. So I only really used less than half a bag for this row. And as you can see, got this wall nice and plumb. So that's going up nicely. Just got to make sure it's plumb as it goes up. And as you can see, it's pretty much on the center here. It does waver a little bit because this isn't perfectly straight. So I want to get it towards the center of the bullseye, and I'll patch it up with mortar to make it perfectly straight. So as long as it's in the double circles, I'm happy with that. I'm going to use the rest of the mortar to fill in this bit, just etch it in. And for the next row, actually for this row, as you can see, I started putting the odd blocks in just to make sure that the circles, the rebar is getting supported by both sides of the block. So this rebar is going to support this side, and then it's going to support this side. So it's going to make it a lot stronger. But also for this one, I'm also going to drill in a bit of rebar to connect it to this wall as well. So it's coming up strong, and also connect some of the rebar in together. So I'll put little odd bits of rebar on the wall as it gets taller, and also extend this rebar, make it a bit taller as well. But yeah, I'll let this set. I'll go out, I'll buy some more blocks, and continue my journey for a tall wall.
All right guys, now it's time to set up our rebar for this session. So I've got this mesh lying around. So I'm going to be using an angle grinder to chop up the bits so we can use it as rebar. You can buy rebar already pre-sized, but it's always useful if you're able to cut it yourself to get the exact size that you want. So for this show, I've got my hearing protection. I've also got a visor, and I've got a thick protective jacket from Kmart, 15 bucks, and I've got some leather on top, an apron from Bunnings. So next up, I want to put on my clamps to clamp this down so it doesn't move. So before I play with the angle grinder, I always make sure that it's fully tightened. I've had it, not on this skinny blade, but I've had it on heavier blades that it does actually untighten on its own. So press the button down and give it a few more tightens. Yep, nice and tight. And then I plug in the battery when I'm ready to rock. So what I'm going to be doing for this session is I'm actually going to be cutting off these little bits to keep the long line, because I might use that to extend the height, and then I'll just cut it along the cage bit by bit, very slowly. So this is the def button. When you push it on forward, it's going to keep on rolling until it runs out of battery. Ideally don't use it, but sometimes you just use it. So I'm just going to go very, very slowly around each one. It should be very, very easy to cut because it's skinny, but pretty much stance is away from the roller. So if it does plop off, it'll go that way or that way, but I'm pretty much protecting myself, and I've got the barrier, the bracket, protecting the sparks from getting my body. So before cutting and committing, always think about where the rebar is going to fall. I'm wearing cut resistance gloves and reinforced boots. Something also worth using is a mask, especially when you're indoors. I'm outdoors, so I've got plenty of wind coming through, so I'm just going to hold my breath between goes. But if you're doing something for a long time, always wear a mask.
So here are bits of my rebar. I think this one looks nice. I just need to select a bit that is slightly thicker. That looks like a good one. So that's the size 8. And a big hammer drill. The reason why I'm using the hammer drill is just purely because I've got longer bits with the hammer drill, because I want to be pumping through that block into that main wall. So for the hammer drill, you get a couple options. You get hammer and drill, you get a hammer option, and you get a drill option. Now you don't use the hammer drill, you don't use the hammer option, because that will just make it go back and forward. So you want to be using the drill or the hammer drill. I'm going to start off with the drill and just see how strong that is. And I just want to angle, so I want this block to touch that wall. And that's why I need a slightly longer one, because I want to go a bit deeper. And then you find that the drill option doesn't really work, so you need to do the hammer drill option. But to mark it, drilling is alright. There you go. Nice and in. So that's securing this side of the wall and that side of the wall. Makes it a little bit stronger and lasts the test of time. So not only will we have strength going left and right, we'll also have strength between these blocks going that way and that way. So let's go ahead, mix up some mortar, make the wall taller. So I got my next row up. I put in 6 blocks this time with 1 bag of mortar. I started a little bit high on the mortar on the right side there, so I gradually just trying to make this line a lot more straighter. I found that this last block was just like a couple of mils lower than that last block. So what I did was I decided to just put it in the right space. So I moved it slightly left, so it butts up with the left side of the wall. I couldn't put that square block left because it was touching the rebar, so I put the big block in line with the edge of the wall. I'm just going to render it all up so it's going to look good. And because it was a little bit sunken by a couple of mils, I decided to just put a bit of mortar on top, so when it comes back after it's dried, when I do lay down the mortar on the next level, it'll be a nice straight line from this level. And I guess I'll put in some rebar. So I'll leave it to dry for a bit, and then we'll put on another 6 to 8 blocks, I think, because I probably use a bit too much mortar here. Trying it out for the first time, seems to be pretty easy. So we got a friend today for today's wall extension. Our neighbour's out. He's just taking a break, watching the action happen. So we're going to be adding 2 more rows to this block. It's going to be pretty good. You excited, mate? Yeah, he's just chilling. He loves the grass over here. Let's go. So just laid on my second row of 4. Now I'm gonna level them. I've got these nice little tools. Got a longer level. I've got the bullseye. That one's awesome to make sure that it's completely in the middle. And I've got my little short level. So I'll just work through and use my little mallet just to tamper them down. For this one, it looks like I need to lower this side a little bit. Perfect. And then I just want to make sure this is flush with the other ones. So I'm just pushing it in line. Make sure it's nice and flush. And that's really gorgeous. And look at the bullseye. It's almost a bullseye, but what you need to also remember is this surface is bumpy. So close to the outer ring is great. So now we've got this one to work off. So it looks like I can immediately see that the right side needs a bit tampering in. So what I'll do, this side slightly raised than that, I don't even need the level for that. What I'll do first, I'll just get in line with both walls. Once you've got the structure, you can easily, you know, just make sure it's in line because you're just feeding off level wall, yeah? So now that this is nice and flush, clearly don't need the level, but I'll use the level anyway. This side just needs a bit tamping down. That's looking nice, visually looks gorgeous. And this way here as well, that's bang on the middle, so I'm happy with that. Now I'm on the next one, and I can see that this one is a bit under, needs a bit of lift, so I'm going to add in some mortar here just to lift it up a little bit. Sometimes what I do is I work it one way, and then if I find this is too shallow, I'll then work them back that way, because then the mortar here can compress a bit further. But let me just lift it up a little bit, why not? Let's take a bit of mortar in there. It looks like it's raised it nicely actually. So let me get the long level. Make sure it's flush with the other brick blocks. I can see this bit level down on this side, but let's just confirm. Because sometimes your eye deceives you. So this side needs just a touch more mortar. There you go, bang in the middle. See that? Bang in the middle, so we're happy with that. All right, guys, we got the big project manager, site manager's on boss. She's making sure it looks good.
Ooh. Yes, this wall does comply with my regulations, and luckily for you, we've got the neighbour on site, and it's he seems to be happy. He's doing his business, and yeah, I got to say, you got approval from everyone, all round approval. Good job. But you know what? You still got a long way to go, so get on with it.
All right, so I just filled this guy up all the way up with mortar. I'm gonna still fill them all up with mortar and rejoin it. But that's it, 2 levels are up today. But one more thing, Apprentice is already on a grasso.
We're officially on the last level of the wall building. Exciting times. Gotta say, as it gets taller and taller, it does get a lot more strength required to get on top and balancing to make it more straight. I needed to use a ladder just to see on top, just to kind of figure it out. But I'm on level 9 right now, and it seems to be holding strong. So I just got my last bits of rebar to fully secure that, and the final level, and we're done. So I've got a few more bags of mortar. What I'll be doing with this one is putting on the last level and filling it up the holes. So let's do it. One thing I gotta say is, I feel like I've gotten a lot more, you know, stronger since I started this project. So I definitely do recommend, if you want to have a little bit of a play, do a bit of exercise without actually doing exercise. It is fun building a wall. Alright guys, as you can see, the wall is complete. It's strong. It's a strong wall. Strong wall, so happy with that. Now join us in the next video where we're going to render it, make this wall, the new one, look like the old one. It's going to be seamless. We're going to paint it. It's look glorious. Strong. Kangi couldn't even destroy it. He got big, isn't it? He got big. Okay, we got a new tester of the wall, making sure it's good. Yep, she's 100% giving us the structural approval. Get on twist and turn. Yeah, she's loving the wall.